Hey guys. So I wanted to comment on, the last or two videos ago on my compression video. I had mentioned that I'll be posting up something every week, 2 weeks. And I was just going to comment and say why that hadn't been happening. So about 2.5 months ago, we discovered that my dad had a form of terminal cancer that had spread from one part of his body to his lungs and his liver. And we were told he had about a year to 2 years left. So at the time when I said that, despite the fact that that was going on, I really thought that I was going to be able to get content out there and still be able to spend time with him and do the things I wanted to with him, which included posting some videos up here of him talking about music and some other things. And I ultimately didn't end up getting to have that time with him. He passed away back in October as a result of the chemo that he was on to try and treat the cancer and some other health problems that he was having. And so, I've been away from things for a little while, just sort of getting through the initial funeral process to, going through Dad's things and finding, out what to do with everything that was his and working that out and getting his stuff out of the place that he was living and just all of that. So I'm sorry that I haven't been able to post anything up, but that's been why. And, just wanted to share really quickly. I've actually got something that I'm going to do today, kind of in honor of him, sort of to go along with some of the things that he taught me about music and everything. You can see on the wall here behind me, I've got a couple of paintings that he had from New Orleans and here from in Memphis that are music oriented. And, my dad sort of was the one that got me into music and got me interested in playing the guitar in the first place. He would kind of noodle around on a nylon string acoustic, which coincidentally ended up being my first guitar that I learned anything on. But he was a drummer back in the day, and he was pretty good. Dad really got me into some of the influences that I ended up having that have affected my playing long term over time with soul music and funk and blues, as is sort of the norm here and in New Orleans, where he loved to visit all the time, which was cool. He got me really into the first song I learned on the guitar was actually Soul Dressing by Booker T and the MGs, which Dad loved the drum part on that, but he figured out the main guitar line and taught it to me on that nylon string acoustic. And he got me into all sorts of things. He introduced me to Led Zeppelin and Jimmy Page, and bought me Are You Experienced by Jimi Hendrix. The first real concert that I ever went to was actually Santana, and it was down on the Mud Island Amphitheater. And I just remember that being a crazy experience, considering how old I was at the time, which was about 11. And he just introduced me to so many different things and taught me about music. He was a very sentimental, loving person. A lot of people know him. He was actually a state representative here in the state of Tennessee in the state house here. And a lot of people know him from that. He did a lot of work to combat human trafficking here in our city and in our state, in domestic violence. Helped parents that had kids with disabilities to be able to get more resources on their own. And he was a really great person that everybody knew, the kinds of work that he was doing and how he tried to work with other people and people that weren't in the same political party as him, which was really cool. But, he had such an outstanding influence on me in terms of art and musicianship, and that was just something he tried to get me involved in. It was he and my mom that encouraged me to join the band when I was in high school. And I learned the trumpet and I learned how to read music. And he took me down to New Orleans and helped me and a friend of mine from high school who I had an acoustic band with play at an open mic night in New Orleans in a bar when we were roughly 15 or 16. So, he he introduced me to so many things. And so since he passed, I've been really going back through those influences and listening to a lot of funk, a lot of soul music, a lot of blues. You know, we're home of the blues here. B.B. King was based out of Memphis here, and there's just so many things that we claim here. And so it's really got me going back into that and doing a lot with that. So today I actually got a guitar that I'm really excited about, that I'm going to unbox. And I'm not going to really do any tone test today. It's just an unboxing, taking a look at it, seeing how it feels. And then at the end of this video, I'm just going to post the eulogy from Dad's memorial service. So I hope everybody's good. I've got a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming out soon. I'm now back with it, and you know, things have sort of settled over the last month. A lot of really cool guitars, some cool amp stuff, some cool effects. Going to be going through a lot of the requests that I've had for different instruments and different pedals to show people what I'm using. But I just really appreciate y'all that are watching this. I know at this point I've only got like 20 subscribers, and I appreciate, you know, the people that have actually reached out to me and talked to me about this on here. You know, it's been tough. You know, we were excited. I've got 2 kids, and we were excited for them to spend some more time and talk to their granddad in his last 1 or 2 years, and we didn't get to end up having that. But you know, we do have the memories that we've been able to create over the past 4 years and over my entire life. And we'll miss Dad, and but I'll continue to play and enjoy the kinds of things that he introduced me to. So I appreciate y'all. Please like and subscribe. You know, it's always helpful to see that there's more people out there seeing the content you're putting out. And again, I just appreciate y'all. Have a good day. All right. So this is my new Eastman T486B, and I'm really pumped about it. You know, I was really interested. I've got an Epiphone Casino that I've really enjoyed so far, but that one is a full hollow body. And so the feedback on the more distorted stuff and the distorted modern blues that I'm trying to play, despite what Gary Clark Jr. might be able to do, I think that there's probably a need here for a semi-hollow. And so I was interested in, you know, the Epiphone 335 or 339, or some of the other things that they've got out there, the Riviera, etc. And then I discovered Eastman because I was also interested, of course, in a Gibson 339 or 335. You know, but that simply is just a little too pricey for what I wanted to put into this, and for what you can get, you know, just to buy an American-made instrument when the things that are out there can be equally as good is, you know, it's a tough decision to make. But I'm really pumped about this guitar. I bought it nearby from a store off Reverb in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Comes with a hard case, and the overall price for this thing, you know, it comes with 2 Seymour Duncans. It is a laminate top, but you know, the Gibson 335 is also a laminate top. So anyway, I'm super excited to see this guitar. Let's get the camera over here. Take a look as we pop it open. I actually think I got it upside down right now. Yep. So, this is the one I'm excited about. It's got 2 Fat Cats in it, laminate top, ebony fretboard, and a lot of other great stuff. It's a little bit darker in color than a 335, is the standard cherry red. And let's just get in here and take a look. There we go. It's got a Bigsby on it, standard tone knobs and controls, and it just looks awesome. Everything's wrapped really well. No problems on the headstock. No serious issues in finish. Ebony fretboard. The back looks wonderful. It's got this nice cream/yellow binding. It's got a good weight to it. Everything is put together really well. So anyway, I'll have to have a video sometime soon. The guys, which I'll get back to you guys about who I got this from, but they set it up and everything. It was marked under the MSRP and it is brand new. So let's see if we can get a good shot here. Focus in. I think when I initially wrote this, because this is something that I'm passionate about, talking about my dad, I think there's a tendency to sort of take on a personification of thinking that I'm something like Jonathan Edwards or something. I'm up here going to tell sinners in the hands of an angry God, but I'm really just Elon Musk up here announcing a Model 3 and not getting through a presentation. So I appreciate everybody being here so much, and my dad loved each and every one of you. And I can honestly come up here and say that because he loved everybody. And he just appreciated all of you so much and everything that each of you do. So everybody has their memories that they've been able to share, but I want to talk a little bit about Dad's legacy and what he's leaving behind, because I think that's important, because I think my dad started something, and that needs to be remembered and carried on as well. So I've got this speech that I'm going to work through. So thank you. Whoever saves one life saves the world entire. My sister was born on September 22nd, 1983, and I was born on March 20th, 1987. And Dad had this habit of having these mimetic jokes that he would repeat to everybody he ever met. And so every time he told somebody when we were born, he would say he was a man for all seasons, because September 22nd is either the last day of summer or the first day of fall, and March 20th is either the last day of winter or the first day of spring. And so everybody heard that joke. Jim was a man for all seasons. But the truth is, that is what my dad was. A man, after all, is somebody who seeks to do good and seeks the good in other people no matter what, and tries to do it no matter what time. In any season of life, in any season of the year, a man tries to do good. And my dad was that man. Despite the voice in his head and the things that he would perseverate on, thinking that he could have done more, my dad was radically good and sought to understand what it is to do good. In the 90s, he worked as a teacher at Hamilton High School between South Memphis and Orange Mound. And this was often a rough environment to be in. My dad got death threats on multiple occasions. But still, he sought to befriend his students and mentor them and train them to be people out in the world, despite what the environment might have been telling them. Because that's what a good man does. And then in 2002, he wanted to be closer to home, and he switched to Bolton High School, where he kept that attitude, because that's what a good man does. And then in 2006, when Dad became a legislator, and he talked to a good friend of mine, Ryan Dalton, who I'm sure y'all will hear much more about over the course of your lives. Ryan told him all about human trafficking and how there's more people in slavery today than there has been at any point in history. And Dad took that up as his cause and made us one of the greatest states for fighting human trafficking legislatively, because that's what a good man does. And then when one of Dad's friends was murdered at the hands of her husband, my dad took up the cause of domestic violence to fight against it, because that's what a good man does. And at the end of the day, my dad would come home, or he would go to a soccer pitch or the baseball diamond, and he would be our biggest advocate and fan. He would help us with our homework. He would read to us. He would tell us stories. He would practice with us. He would sing and play with us and cheer us on, so that we would know that we were happy and loved, and so that we would grow up to be people that would do good things, because that's what a good man does.
The quote, or as my dad would, anytime you said the quote, my dad would say, quotation, to let you know that's not right. But anyway, the quote at the beginning that I said, whoever saves one life saves the world entire, is from Schindler's List, which was one of Dad's favorite movies. And it's a paraphrasing a part of the Talmud. And in the movie, Oskar Schindler, a German man who saved many Jews and kept them safe during World War II, was given a ring with that saying inscribed on it. And that saying is to indicate that it takes one person to do one good thing to leave a legacy and to change the world to make it a better place. One person can make a profound difference and help to save the world. Men like my father, women like Sarah Adair, people like Spence Person, Howard Margo, Ron Lawler, and so many more people who have passed on or are here today. The outpouring of calls and Facebook messages from teachers, students, legislators, constituents, and friends have convinced me that my dad, for his part, has already saved the world. Now, in the midst of the Second World War, my dad's muse, Winston Churchill, gave a speech at the Harrow School where he spoke the famous lines, often misquoted, "Never give in, never, 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 never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force, never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy." Now, we don't face the same kinds of struggles that people did in the early 20th century, but we do face a lot of hate and divisiveness these days. And Dad often would talk to me and call me at night, and talk to me about how he just was disillusioned by the fact that there was so much of this going on where people just weren't connected to one another and were divided over things. This enemy is different. It often seems intractable, if not immutable, and we are hard-pressed on every side. But make no mistake, it is not insurmountable. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed people can change the world. My dad was surrounded by people that were good. Every person here is capable of earth-shattering, hatred-defeating goodness. And that is why my dad surrounded myself with those type of people. People like a teacher that brought a newspaper every day to a little boy whose father had abandoned him. A little boy who as a result went on to fight the evil of human trafficking and domestic abuse in ways that our country has not seen before. Let that little boy be your motivation, but more importantly, let that little boy instill a serious discipline which pushes you to be unapologetically and aggressively good, regardless of the politics of it and regardless of the ramifications. My dad passed last week, but the goodness that he inspired has just begun. So please carry that legacy on for him. Thanks.